Hi guys, welcome back to Queenvarieties channel. In today's episode, you will learn how to make a 3-ingredient butter cookies recipe using the oven and no oven method of preparation. This is also an eggless choco chips butter cookies recipe, and for those of you who don't like eggs, trust me, you're going to enjoy this crispy, crunchy outcome. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel to get instant notifications whenever I upload any video. Kindly share my video with your friends, loved ones, or anybody you want to share it with. Thank you. Okay guys, so first of all, I'm going to introduce you to the ingredients. I have butter. You can use margarine as substitute. This is softened butter. What I'll do now is to open it up and scoop it right inside this place. You're going to beat this butter for exactly maybe 3 minutes, okay? You want the appearance of the butter to become whitish in nature. For the next step, I'm going to introduce the sugar. To do that, I've brought out my sieve because we're going to sieve it. And for this recipe, I'm using 1 cup of sugar. And this is the powdered sugar. If you don't have the powdered sugar, you can as well use the granulated one, but you have to mix extra time. We are going to combine the sugar and the butter together. I've changed to my spatula, so I'll be using the spatula now to combine it. We are going to add the flour. For this recipe, I'm using 2 cups of all-purpose flour. I'll combine that step by step. At the same time, I have corn flour here, so I'll add it. This is 1/4 cup of corn flour, just to make the outcome of the biscuits to be crispy in nature. If you don't have the corn flour, you can replace it with just extra 1/4 cup of flour. My hands are properly clean, so I'm going to use my hands now to combine it. Okay guys, so you have to use your hands and gather the dough very well. What we're targeting is a soft dough. If you look at the dough right now, you see how soft it is. So now the dough is formed. I'll transfer it to the wet surface here. So I'll just knead this dough for only 1 time. Just push it out like this. You see that? And that's it. Alright, I'm going ahead to divide the dough here into 2 segments. One segment is bigger than the other one. Here, I'll place it back to the bowl here. I'm going to add some little quantity of chocolate chips inside it. Just 1 tablespoon of chips. And then I'll fold it into the dough. At this point in time, you can go ahead and roll out your dough immediately and bake. For me, I love to put it inside the freezer, or I'll use a plastic wrap, or you can use a cling film. Okay, so into the freezer, I'll be leaving this for 10 to 15 minutes. Stage of preparation. Here we are going to create the chocolate flavor. Yes, so we are going to basically repeat the same ingredients that we use, but with the exception of very few that I'll be introducing. All right, in this glass here I've got 250 grams of butter. And for this recipe, I'm using 1 cup of sugar with extra 4 to 5 tablespoons. So for this, I'm having here 2 cups of flour. Same time, I have some unsweetened cocoa powder, and this is 1/4 cup of cocoa powder. 4 4 teaspoons of vanilla aroma. If you're using the extract, just use 2 teaspoons of extract. Sorry, I almost forgot my baking powder. 1 teaspoon of baking powder. The outcome of the dough is a little bit too soft. I have here an extra flour I have placed. This is 1/4 cup of flour. I will just sieve that. I'm going ahead to add some corn flour. I want the corn flour to give it a little base like we did with the butter flavor. If you don't want to add the corn flour, just add extra little flour. Having achieved the perfect dough, I'll transfer to my wet surface now, and like we did earlier on, I'm going to knead it. This I will do twice, just so that the corn flour I added last will incorporate inside the dough. I'm going to divide this dough into 2 segments. I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of chocolate chips, go ahead, like I said earlier on, and form your dough, your cookies, and bake. But like me, I always like to leave it in the fridge for extra 10 to 15 minutes to firm up a little bit before I continue. About 15 minutes time, and the first set of dough we placed in the fridge or freezer is ready. So I'm bringing it out now so that we'll start working with it. Over there is my baking tray lined with some baking paper. So here is the dough, guys. Here I've got my cookie cutter. So I'm just going to select the size I want. Right, I'm going for something a bit bigger in size. So now we are going to roll out the dough. And just to make sure I have a beautiful appearance, I'll place a baking sheet at the surface. It's very important, just so that your dough will not be sticking to the rolling pin. And because it's coming from the fridge or freezer, you notice the dough now is easier to work with, okay? I'm going to use my cookie cutter to just get some cuts. Okay, so once you're done, you're going to carefully lift it up. So this is what you continue to do until you have rolled everything out, and then we'll bake. First segment is ready. I'm going to transfer this to my preheated oven at 150 degrees Celsius because I don't want the butter to begin to melt. I'm going to bake for 15 to 20 good minutes. Guys, so the chocolate one is also ready. At this point in time, I'll be transferring it to the oven while I'm going ahead to bring out the other one in the oven because it is all right, friends. It's been about 15 to 20 good minutes now, and the first cookies we placed in the oven is completely ready. Just in case you're not sure whether yours is ready or not, just take a good look at the sides. Notice the sides are golden brown in appearance. The cookie is still soft, so you're going to give it some time to cool down completely, and then you will get that crispy, crunchy effect. So look at how beautiful they turned out. Just take a good look at the cookies. This is perfect for the season. You can make it for your guests, your friends, anyone you want to make it for, okay? Yes. You can see my pot is preheating. What you see right inside that pot now is some quantity of salt. Let me bring you closer so that you will see it. Not important to use salt, okay? Yes, it's just optional. You can just leave your pot empty. Preheating the salt for just 10 good minutes on low to medium heat. That's the remaining portions of the dough. Remember the ones that we cut out from each segment of the dough. Yes, so just like what we did earlier on, we are going to repeat the same exact step. I'll carefully lift the dough and then join it with the chocolate flavor. Okay, so I'm going to fold the dough together. I'll divide it into 2 segments. I've gone ahead to grease my pan and I've placed baking paper inside it. It's optional. You just rub some little quantity of butter or oil at the base of your pan, just like when you're making cake. Okay guys, so this is the appearance that we are having right now. Just take a good look at what we have there. The pot has been heating for like 10 to 15 minutes. So in case the pot you're using is deeper, all you have to do is to put a rack inside it. The size of pot I'm using is very okay because the edges are going to hold my pan. This pan is not sitting at the base of the pot. The edges of the pot is preventing it from sitting at the base. So please make sure that your pan is not sitting at the base. It's very, very important. Otherwise, your cookies will burn. So instead of that, you can use a rack like this to prevent it. We're going to cover the pot now and bake for 30 good minutes. Back is exactly 40 to 45 minutes later. Oh, this is what we are having, guys. Did you see that steam? It's almost getting burnt. I have to be fast. So this is the appearance of the cookies. It's ready. You can see that brownish color at the sides. Okay, that's an indication that it's super ready. I'll go ahead now and remove it from the heat. Look at it. Oh my god, my kids are jumping around the corner waiting for these biscuits. Okay, so I'm going ahead to show you the outcome of the entire recipe. I'm going to break it up to show you the outcome. That's our beautiful cookies. And guys, this is my favorite. This one here, oh my god. Thank you so much for joining me in today's episode. I really hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, kindly like, share this video with your friends, loved ones, or anybody you want to share it with. Please share this video, okay? Because when you share it, many more people will come to my channel. Until I come your way next time, bye. Learn how to make an easy homemade butter cookies recipe using an oven baked or no oven baked method of preparation. Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Queen. You're watching Queenvarieties channel. Variety is the spice of life, isn't it? Yes, in today's episode, I'll be sharing a simple homemade recipe with you. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Share my video with your friends. And on my wet surface, you can notice I have lined all the ingredients that is required for this video preparation. So the very first thing we're going to add here is 300 grams of butter. So this is how soft the butter is. You see, when I touch the spatula, you can see how soft it is. The butter, now I'll add 1 cup of sugar. I'm using granulated sugar for this. You can also use the powdered one. You're going to cream this for exactly 2 to 3 minutes until everything is fluffy and perfectly incorporated. So if you don't have the hand mixer, you can just make use of your spatula or spoon and beat everything for exactly, let's say, 5 to 8 minutes until it is very fluffy, okay? Alright guys, over here I have 2 egg yolk. If you don't want to use the egg yolk, just go for 1 egg. I'll drop that in here. For this recipe, I'll be using 1 tablespoon of vanilla aroma and 1 tablespoon of almond aroma. Please feel free to use any flavor of your choice. We're going to cream it to combine once again. See how beautiful the batter is looking. This time we are going to add the dry ingredients. Inside this glass I've got 3 cups of flour. I'm using all-purpose flour for this recipe, so I'm going to cross it in my sieve here and have it sieved in. And we're going to add the flour ingredients step by step. Over here is a combination of baking powder and a little pinch of salt, exactly 1/4 teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. I'll just drop that right in here, sieve it in. Mix to combine because we are trying to form a dough. Alright, these are some coconut flakes. This is going to help the biscuits to be a little bit crunchy, at the same time help it to taste good. I'll add 1/2 cup of coconut flakes. Now this is totally optional. If you don't want to add it, just keep it. It's not important. So I'm going to give everything a good mix to combine. Let's form our dough. Okay guys, so everything now is perfectly formed. I'll drop it on my wet surface here so that we'll bring it in together. You don't need to knead it too much. Okay, so one more time we are going to knead it. I'll split this dough into 2 segments. Alright, I'm just going to place it in my freezer and freeze this for exactly 10 to 15 minutes before I continue. But in case you don't have the patience, you can just roll it immediately, okay? You don't need to put it in the fridge, it's just optional. So we are getting to the time where we have to now roll out the dough. Right now you can see I am preheating my pot for the no oven method of preparation. It's another approach for those of you who don't have ovens, okay? I'm just trying to help out. For this particular no oven method, you will need a rack. This is what you're going to place inside the pot to help to lift your oven pan up. Now, if you don't have this particular rack, you can just use a tin tomato paste container, or even if it is milk tins, yes, but use milk tins or tin tomato tins of equal sizes and place right into the pot. My cooker settings is between 0 to number 9. I'm preheating this pot right now on number 3 heat. Now I'm going to cover this pot and preheat this pot for exactly 10 good minutes before I place in the biscuits inside there. Alright, I'll be using this type of style of cutters for my biscuits, so feel free to use any cutter of your choice. Exactly 10 minutes later, or 10 to 15 minutes later, the dough is now out of the freezer. You can see it is not frozen, but at the same time it is now chilled. Use the baking sheet to place on top, and then we are going to roll out this dough to a level of flatness. I have my baking pan here, it's already buttered, so we're going to cut out the biscuit now, and I'll be placing them inside this place. The dough cutters are beginning to cut depending on the sizes that you want. This is a fun part of this whole entire process. You're going to remove the excess dough, re-roll once again, and then continue until you have rolled out the entire biscuits. Okay guys, so everything now is completed for the no oven method. I'll be transferring right now into the pot just so that we'll start the baking process. So you don't put too much, because if you put too much, you know, it's going to rise and it's going to affect the space when you want to detach it.
Alright, the pot is preheated. I'll drop this inside here, then cover and allow it to do its magic. Right now we are going to check the outcome. Oh my, did you see that steam that is coming out from there? So it's almost getting set. I'm going to give it extra 5 good minutes. If you look at the base, you notice that some of them have started getting brown. That means it's almost getting set. Okay, all right, so between 20 to 25 minutes everything should be set, and then you bring it out. Okay, guys, it smells so good. Smells really nice. So 5 to 8 minutes later, friends, everything now is perfectly ready. Oh, guys, look at that. Just take a good look at how beautiful it turned out. The outcome of the oven baked method. Look at how beautiful it turned. So for you to bake it in the oven, it takes only 15 good minutes. 10 to 15 minutes they will be all ready. It all depends on the sizes that you have baked it. Okay, and this is the no oven baked method. So you can see that there's not much difference between the baked method and the no oven baked method. They all still turned out so crispy, beautiful. The taste of this biscuit is so delicious. I've been snacking on it off camera. It tastes super rich and so delicious. You're gonna enjoy the baking process. Allow everything to cool down completely before you snack on it. How crispy.
So here we're going to draw the curtain for today's recipe. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I hope you have enjoyed watching this video. Yes, very simple to put together. You can see how beautifully amazing everything turned out. So crispy, crunchy, super delicious, yummy. Oh my goodness. I paired it with some yogurt and oh, it was a match made in heaven. So feel free to pair it with anything you prefer best. All right, so remember to share my video with your friends and loved ones. Until I come your way next time, stay beautiful and blessed, and remember, variety is the spice of life. Bye. Hi friends, welcome back to Queenvarieties channel. In today's episode, we're going to fix a very simple crispy homemade digestive biscuit recipe. Guys, this biscuit tasted so delicious, much more delicious than the store sold digestive biscuit. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel to get instant notifications whenever I upload any video. Feel free to share this video with your friends, loved ones, or anybody you want to share it with. Thank you. On my work surface here, I have all the basic ingredients required for this recipe, and we are using only simple ingredients, about 5 to 6 items. Alright, so here I have 3.5 cup of wheat flour. Next, I have 3/4 cup of sugar. We are using granulated sugar for this recipe, but you can use the powdered sugar. You can use the powdered sugar or the confectioner sugar as substitute to the granulated one, okay? Alright, so here we have the milk. For the milk, we are only going to scoop about 5 to 6 tablespoons of milk. Also, I have 250 grams of butter, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Going over to the next step, what I have on my hand there is some softened butter. Okay, you can also use the hardened butter, but at least you have to go through and that kind of approach. I'll add the butter into the bowl, and after adding the butter into the bowl, guys, I'm going to pour in some sugar, the granulated sugar I mentioned earlier on. Now we are going to go forward and cream both ingredients together until it comes out super fluffy. This you can do with your hands, but I'm doing with my hand mixer because I don't have time on my side right now. You can use your hand whisk and whisk this thing, not necessarily the hand mixer, just in case you don't have it. Okay, so when the mixing process is done, that took about 5 good minutes. I'll use my spatula and combine everything appropriately. Now I'll pass the dry ingredients. There is the salt and baking powder. I'll go forward and now pass the wheat flour across the sieve and sieve it so that everything will come out super smooth. Right, friends, the sieving process is done. We are going over to the next step. At this point in time, I'm going to scoop in about 5 good tablespoons of milk inside this mixture. Remember, we are using the softened butter, which we have creamed together with the sugar, so the mixture is fluffy. So you don't need too much quantity of liquid inside this ingredient, otherwise you end up with mushy dough. And we are targeting a firm dough, as you can see. Yes, so you have to make sure that you result with a firm dough. Just in case you made a mistake along the line, don't worry. All you need to do is add in a little more wheat flour to it until you have this perfect dough outcome, okay? So now I have divided the dough into 2 good segments. We are going to transfer this dough into a plastic foil it appropriately, and then keep it in the freezer for like 20 to 30 good minutes. You don't want the dough to come out too hard, but you want the butter to, set a little bit so that it does not melt when it gets into the oven. 20 to 30 minutes later, the dough is perfectly out of the fridge or freezer. Now I will go forward and lightly flour my work surface and drop the dough on the floured work surface. Now with the help of the rolling pin, we are going to flatten this dough. Not too flat, but at least until you get that size of a cookie kind of flatness. To enable the dough to roll out so smooth, I used a baking paper to drop on the surface so that the dough does not stick on the rolling pin. Alright, so you can see that beautiful appearance. Now with the help of the dough cutter, we are going to cut out the exact shape of a digestive biscuit. Now you can see how beautiful that looks. I mean, that dough is looking so amazing and beautiful. So once that step is done, all you have to do is to remove the excess dough and then re-roll it again and form them into a digestive biscuit shape until you have taken your time and rolled out all the doughs that we formed. Alright, my beautiful people, so we are getting to the end of the whole entire process. With the help of the skewer, we are going to create that authentic dots on your basic digestive biscuits that you buy from the supermarket. With the help of that thing you're seeing on the screen there, we are going to inscribe the word digestive on the surfaces of the cookies. So to get that, you can check in the link in my description section because I'll be dropping the link. So follow that link and go get yourself one. So look at how gorgeous our homemade digestive cookies or homemade digestive biscuits are looking. So beautiful, well shaped, and I mean, it looks like the store sold one. Transfer it to the oven and we are going to bake it for like 15 minutes to 20 minutes until you derive that perfect appearance. And guys, look at what we are having here. I mean, just take a good look at what we are having here. Look at that crispy, crunchy outer look of this gorgeous looking digestive biscuit. The biscuits turned out so crispy and crunchy, so delicious, guys. It even tastes better than the store sold digestive biscuit, I tell you. I mean, this thing was devoured by the entire family in just a twinkle of an eye. Some of us watered it down with some yogurt and some milk. It was a perfect match made in heaven. Thank you so much for joining me in today's episode. I really hope you have been inspired to go try out the recipe. If you have, don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel to get instant notifications whenever I upload any video. Feel free to share this video with your friends, loved ones, or anybody you want to share it with. Until I come your way next time, bye-bye. Learn how to bake a very simple homemade biscuit recipe with only 3 ingredients. In this video, you will learn 2 methods of preparations, a no oven baked method and with oven baked method. These cookies are absolutely crispy and super delicious. Hello everyone and welcome back to Queenvarieties channel, and please don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel to get instant notifications whenever I upload any video. Kindly share this video with your friends, loved ones, or anybody you want to share it with. Thank you.
In this bowl here, I have about 400 grams of margarine. I'll be using margarine precisely for this recipe. In case you're using butter, please use 350 grams of butter. And make sure the type of butter you're using is the softened butter. You can see that this butter is very soft. You see that? So it's at room temperature. I said you can use your hand whisk to beat it for some few minutes before you incorporate the flour. But I'll be using the hand machine to do this. Some of you were asking me in my last shortbread biscuit recipe if somebody can use margarine. That is the reason why I'm using margarine in this video. So just in case you're having butter, just use butter like I have instructed earlier on. So you can see that it's a little bit whitish in nature. Go forward and pour in 1 cup of powdered sugar, which is the same thing with the icing sugar or the confectioner sugar. If you don't want to use the powdered sugar, you can as well use the granulated sugar. All you have to do is mix everything well just to make sure that the sugar is completely melted. Friends, so these 2 ingredients are perfectly combined, and now we are going to incorporate the flour. For this recipe, I'll be using 3 cups of flour. So I'll go forward now and sift that in. I'll try and combine that step by step. So with the help of my spatula, I will mix in. Cup here, I have about 3/4 cup of corn flour. That is just to give the biscuits a kind of form. Corn flour is going to help make your biscuit to come out more crispy like in nature, but this is optional. If you want to use the corn flour, you can just skip this step and continue with flour. This particular corn flour here with extra 3/4 cups of flour. I'll be using my hands right now to combine everything, so please make sure your hands are very, very neat, as in super neat. I have a perfect dough, as you can see, and this dough is not tough, it's kind of soft dough. At the same time, it's not too soft. Place this on my work surface now. You knead this for just 1 or 2 times. This way, just this way. Don't want to over knead that, and you use your hands, bring it in together. Repeat that same step just 1 more time. It's as simple as that. And you have your perfect dough for your cookie. Okay guys, so right now you can go ahead and cut your cookies into any shape that you want. To place this in my refrigerator, but if you want to cut it now, you can just spread it out and cut it. Right here I have some plastic wrap. I'll place it inside my fridge. You can also use a cling film to just foil it. I'm going to place this in my freezer for exactly 30 good minutes, or 15 minutes to 30 minutes. If you don't want to bake it now, you can just leave it in your freezer until whenever you want to bake it. You bring it out and defreeze it. It can stay in your freezer for many months. In time, we are going over to the baking process because I'm about to bring out the dough from the fridge. All right, as you can see, I've placed the pot on the heat. My cooker settings is between 0 to 9, So I'll be preheating this pot right now on my number 3 heat for exactly 10 good minutes. I'll pour in some salt. You can as well do it without any salt, but I don't want to damage this pot because it's a new pot. So I'll add some salt. The salt is going to help to retain the heat. If you want to bake on your frying pan, all you have to do is to brush your frying pans with a little bit of butter or oil and then put in your cookies there and bake. Okay guys, so what we are going to do now is to cover this pot to preheat for exactly 10 good minutes. While that step is going on, I will now bring out the dough from the fridge. I'm using my cake pan to bake the cookies. As you can see, I've lined it on with some parchment paper. That is optional. And also I've brushed it with some butter so that the cookies will not stick on it. So this I've done off camera. You can also do that. At this stage, I'll lightly flour my wet surface with some flour. I'll just place a baking sheet on the surface just to make it a little bit easier to roll it out because it's breaking up. Alright, so you can see I have a smooth appearance. With the help of my dough cutter, I'll begin to cut it up. You can actually make this into any shape of your choice. For this recipe, I'll be doing different sizes, not necessarily one type of size. Also join the same dough back and then roll it again. Over here I have the cake pan filled. So what I'm going to do now is to start the baking process while I continue rolling the remaining dough. I'll use my fork and pierce some holes at the surface of the cookies. Now I'll be transferring it to the preheated pot, which we will be preheating for exactly 10 good minutes. This is the beautiful appearance that we are having right now. Hot enough. I will increase my heat to the very medium. Now I've turned my heat all the way down to number 5. So we're going to bake this for exactly 15 good minutes to 20 minutes. To do that, I'm going to place a rack. Placing the rack is very important because you don't want the cake pan to sit at the base of the pot. That means your cookies are going to burn. Then I'll cover the pot and allow this to start baking. You can use your fork and give some design on it if you want. It's just optional. Alright, my beautiful people, so the oven is preheated at 150 degrees Celsius, and as you can see, I have all the dough completely rolled out here. Yes, so I'm going to transfer this right into the oven and allow the baking process to start. So keep an eye on it, anywhere between 15 minutes to 20 minutes. It all depends on how your oven settings is. So I'm going to transfer right into the oven and start baking it. Point in time, friends, we are going to check the outcome of the cookies in the pot. Oh la la, guys, can you see that steam that just came out of that pot? I mean, take a good look at these beautiful cookies. Guys, this place smells incredibly amazing. I'm trying to form this into a kind of block shape. To shape this into a kind of square shape, as you can see it here, and cut it into a kind of shortbread sizes. Okay, so let me show you the outcome of the baking process. Oh la la, that is what we are having. So it's been about 15 to 20 minutes and this is the perfect outcome. You can see that it's completely cooked when you notice that brownish appearance right there. 20 minutes later, the baking process is completed. This is what we are having. This is the outcome of the cookies, looking so buttery and absolutely mouth-watering. Going to allow it to cool down completely. It's very, very important. Allow the cookies to sit here until it is completely cooled down before you serve.
Alright, my gorgeous friends, so here we are going to draw the curtain for today's video. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I really hope you have enjoyed today's recipe. If you have, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel, share this video with your friends, loved ones, or anybody you want to share it with. Until I come your way next time, bye, and remember, variety is the spice of life. Bye.
Hello friends, you're welcome back to my platform. You're watching Queenvarieties channel.
For this video preparation, we are making biscuit cookies recipe for beginners, step-by-step guidance. You need 500 grams of margarine or butter. Make sure it is at room temperature, soft and unsalted. If yours is salted, you have to make sure to reduce the quantity of salt used in the entire process. You're going to cream for exactly 5 minutes with your hand machine or with a hand whisk. You have to do that until it becomes fluffy. Next, I'll add 1 cup of icing sugar. You can as well increase quantity if you want the outcome of the cookies to be extremely sugary. You're going to cream that for extra 2 to 3 minutes. If you don't have the icing sugar, you can use the granulated sugar. I'll then begin to introduce the dry ingredients. Of course, you will need all-purpose flour. For this, I'll be using 5 cups of all-purpose flour. For the flour, you have to make sure you pass all dry ingredients through a sieve and then begin to add them step by step. To the flour, I'll add 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 4 tablespoons of milk powder, half teaspoon of salt to that, and then sift them accordingly. The sifting process is done. At this time, I will go ahead and add 2 egg yolks, and for the egg white, I'm going to remove that because you don't want the outcome to be too soft. I'll use my spatula and combine everything appropriately. Once that is done, I will set that aside, and then with the help of my hands, I'm going to combine to a firm dough. Alright, lovelies, at this point in time, you can see that the dough is formed. I'll place them on my work surface. With my hands, I'm going to divide the dough into 2 segments and then knead each segment for just 2 times. When you're handling a cookie dough or a biscuit dough, you have to be extremely careful. You don't have to overwork it. It's just like when you're making meat pie. So I will use the heel of my hands, that is the edge of my hand, and then knead that for just twice, okay, and then form into a neat dough. When I place my finger on the dough, you can notice that it creates a print on it. That's an indication that you have the perfect biscuit dough. You don't want it to be too floury in nature. Alright, I will place into a cling film and I will be freezing it. If you don't want to go through the freezing method, you can as well just begin to cut your cookies or biscuits immediately. The other segment of dough I will also knead twice as expected, and then here includes some chocolate chips inside it. Knead it once again and place the 2 divided doughs once again into a plastic film. Transfer to the freezer and freeze for exactly 20 minutes, or you can leave it refrigerated for 30 good minutes. Alright, lovely. So on my work surface, you can notice my cookie cutters of different shapes and sizes. Choose any one of them and then shape your biscuits according to your own preference. The dough is out of the freezer. You can see it is firmed up. It is hard, but it is not frozen. roll it out appropriately. With the help of my baking sheet, I'll place it on top of the dough and then roll it out just to have a smooth appearance without the dough sticking on the rolling pin. You don't need to apply flour, because if not, your dough will be tasting much more flour instead of buttery. I've used my cookie cutters to get out the required shape I want, and then for the excess dough, you set it aside. With the help of my fork, I'll just give a little bit of designs on the cookies. Alright, once completed, I will transfer to a baking tray which I have lined with a baking sheet. You're going to bake at 150 degrees Celsius for exactly 15 minutes. Alright, lovelies, for the remaining dough, what I'm going to do here is to cut it out as illustrated earlier on. Alright, so we are going to repeat the same process that we did earlier on with the one with chocolate chips, but here I'm going to be filling it more with more chocolates for decoration. That way, when you're chewing this particular one, you will have the chocolate flavor mixed with the white. My guys, this is so delicious. I will also bake at 150 degrees for 15 good minutes. For the last segment of the dough, I'll be using the fork to give some piercings, okay, just to give it a different design. Guys, after 15 minutes, you have a delicious biscuit cookies, which is extremely beautiful, delicious, crispy and yummy. Very, very delicious and yummy. And so this is what it looks like. You have to allow it to cool down completely. Allow it to cool down completely, and then you package it into any package of your choice. And that is it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have enjoyed this recipe. God bless you. Until I come your way next time, stay blessed and loved. Bye. And remember, variety is the spice of life. Subscribe, like, and share my video with your friends. Bye for now. Thank you.
What does perfect even mean?
Shortbread is my favorite snack, and in today's episode I will be showing you how to make the basic traditional Scottish shortbread biscuits. I'll be showing you this recipe using only 3 basic ingredients. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Queenvarieties channel, and please don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel to get instant notifications whenever I upload new videos. Feel free to share this video with your friends, loved ones and family members. For this recipe, you require softened butter for best results. Make sure the butter is not hard. Bring out your butter from the fridge 1 to 2 hours before preparation at room temperature. Go ahead and beat the butter with your spatula until it becomes creamy in consistency.
Disgusted with myself, and I'm disgusted with the way we're told to have a certain face, a certain weight, because we aren't pixels on a screen. No, we're human.
The next step is to add 1 cup confectional sugar or powdered sugar into the mixing bowl. You can also use the normal sugar as substitute. Sieve and combine all ingredients with your spatula or whisk until you achieve a smooth creamy paste.
Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, and if I say it enough, it gets ingrained in my head, and I start to think, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa.
Once you have achieved the creamy texture, it's now time to add the flour into the mixing bowl. Add little salt if you're using a non-salted butter. Do not add salt if your butter is already salted, otherwise you end up with salty shortbread biscuits. Combine all ingredients once again to form a dough, making sure you do not overmix once the flour has been added. Drop the dough on the work surface and knead as shown, once or twice only.
Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, whoa. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, whoa. And if I say it enough, it gets ingrained in my head, and I start to see. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a perfect 10.
Transfer the dough to your refrigerator and chill for 1 hour until it is time for it. One hour later, guys, and yes, we are ready to make the Scottish shortbread biscuits recipe. Place a baking sheet inside your tray, though optional, and then bring out the dough from the fridge and drop it on the surface of the tray. Don't worry if the dough has cracks, we'll fix that problem very soon. Remember, the dough has been chilling for 1 hour, so the dough is hard to touch but not frozen. And also the dough has a tendency of developing cracks because it is just coming out of the refrigerator. Tap the rolling pin on the dough to loosen its firmness a little bit, or leave it to sit for a few minutes. But let me remind you that it's best to work the dough in this situation so that the butter doesn't dissolve in the oven and then ruin this recipe entirely. Now, with the help of your rolling pin, roll out the dough to flatten a little bit but not too flat. You can also form your shortbreads in different styles, not necessarily this traditional method. If the dough feels sticky, sprinkle a tiny little flour on the dough as you roll and then use your hands to pinch the broken cracks in the dough together. Guys, you must begin to preheat your oven at this segment of preparation so that the oven will be very hot before the biscuits get into the oven to bake evenly.
Can we switch up all the rules and imagine a utopia? Darling, I'm just so fed up with these expectations. They keep weighing me down. My heart is begging me to get the hell out of my head. I'm gonna live inside the upside down for a minute and pretend. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, whoa. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, whoa. And if I say it enough, it gets ingrained in my head, and I start to see. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. 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 Whoa. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a perfect 10.
Once you have completely rolled out your dough to your desired shape and size, then go ahead and mark lines on your dough for the cutting process. You will notice I used ruler because I am trying so hard as much as possible to make the dough look like the original Scottish basic shortbread biscuit recipe. Anyway guys, it doesn't matter, just do what you can and cut the biscuit to any shape you would prefer to have it. Follow the guidelines in the video and finish the process. When done, use your fork and pierce holes on the dough to make the baking process easier.
And if I say it enough, it gets ingrained in my head, and I start to think. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. What does perfect even mean? Is there even such a thing? Ooh, switch up all the rules and imagine a utopia. Darling, I'm just so fed up with these expectations. They weigh me down.
When done, use your fork and pierce holes on the dough to make the baking process easier.
For a minute and pretend, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, whoa, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, whoa. And if I say it enough, it gets ingrained in my head, and I start to see, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a perfect 10.
Bake the dough for 35 to 40 minutes on 150 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit. After a total period of 40 minutes, guys, your basic traditional Scottish shortbread biscuit recipe is ready. And you can notice a brownish crust on the surface of the shortbread biscuit. That is an indication that this recipe is completely ready. So what you're going to do right now is to slice the biscuits now that it is hot, because if you tend to slice the biscuits when it is cold, it tends to scatter and then lose its defined beauty. So you serve this recipe with anything you want to serve it with, guys. In fact, this recipe tasted much more delicious than the store sold shortbread biscuit, because there is no artificial flavorings added to this recipe. This homemade recipe, guys, is 100% recommended, and it's so crunchy, as you can see, and so delicious, guys. Thank you so much for joining me in today's episode, and I really hope you guys have enjoyed today's recipe. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel to get instant notifications whenever I upload new videos, and please feel free to share this video with your friends, loved ones, and family members. Until I come your way next time, bye bye.
Darling, I'm just so fed up with these expectations. They weigh me down.
My tongue, I have a bad tongue. I used to bite myself even when I'm talking.